Okay, let's make a couple of coffees. It's a rainy afternoon. It's been raining for months. Like every afternoon is pouring all day. But let's make a couple of coffees here, and I'll tell you something I figured out. There we are. Oh, we got the growing green. Back to La Pavonis, but what if it's always been opposite? This whole weird religion thing with the, heaven. I don't believe any of that crap. It's all just made up by people and they keep copying it. But here, let's steam some milk on the old girl here first. Once you get the milk to come up a little ways. Hands free, check that out. Just tuck it under, watch your little thing, so that's going good. But what if it is all opposite? Like if it is really true, right, this whole thing, you're supposed to live this weird way that's illogical and mean to people and all that, but if you do that, you're supposed to go to, right, what they call heaven. But do you really want to be somewhere for like ever with those guys who think they're going there? Just think about that. These, magical guys, the big, have all the money, and they're, let's move that out. They're $2,000, $5,000 tennis shoes on stage begging money from poor people to buy them jets and shit. There's not a chance I want to be with those guys. If it's all true, I'd rather be down where the hot tubs, it's sunny, you're having campfires, bonfires on the beach, the water's warm. You never hear about them having to sit there and whine about shit. So anyway, that's what I think it's all made up, but that's just the way it is. But anyway, what if it is true? Let's just say. Okay, but what if it's a big trick the whole time? It's like the Truth and Lies, that famous painting, right? Lies throws her twin sister Truth in the well and goes around pretending she's Truth. So Truth crawls out of the well and goes to tell everybody that it's really Lies, but nobody knows because they're twins, right? Truth and Lies. So what if it's like that? Because if you ever hear about Satan and the devil and all this, it's just made up to get people to be scared and give them money and work. Right? But what if it was true, what if it's actually opposite? That really, they're tricking you, that really hell's the good, Satan is really the good place, and really heaven's were some weird entity that supposedly made us all, made this giant universe, stuck us one little place in it, and then messes with us and wants you to do all this weird shit and kill people and have your armies, you better do this and that. It just isn't true. And because just look at in history, there has never been a Satan's army. There's never been like a country or army or group that really is like rah-rah with the devils and the pitchfork, and they have that satanic Bible, which was written by a guy, and he just said he wrote it. So we know just like this that it's all just different things people wrote and then rewrote and changed it all around. So, but if you think about it, there's never been any like devil's army or Satan's army. There never has been. The closest thing is usually the good guys saying they're going to kill people because they're not the same religion. And it just goes on like that. And I learned it. I was probably 10 maybe, 9, 10, 11 at the oldest, and I was like the last kid in the family riding my bike up to church. Everyone else had bailed out up to the Catholic Church. And one day I'm looking around and they have those 12 things. And I just realized, God, this is a load of shit. It's all bullshit. I just realized that I would rather go down in the little creek and chase things in the mud, which I used to start doing after that. But even at that age, I just go, God, how can people believe all this? They don't. They're just coming up here and giving money, and it was all a little crazy. But when you think about it, really, it doesn't make any sense. Because if these evangelist guys are really true, then man, they're greedy, evil. They are. They're just the worst type of people. And they tell people that don't have any money to give them more money. Like that Schuler, not Schuler, one of those guys. I forget, all their names are so crazy. But the lady goes, oh, I'm having a hard time on her calling show, and I barely make it. And the guy had the nerve to tell her that she's not giving enough money to the church. So here's a lady who can't afford food. She's buying like the lightest food to carry home that isn't nutritious, barely getting by each month, living in a substandard room in some chintzy motel that rents to seniors, right? And yeah, that's where, and this guy told her to give more money to the church. It's like, Jesus Christ, your ass. Like, wipe out your wallet and hand the lady a couple $100 bills at least. But those guys are all phony. They're all phony. They just want money. And look, they go up to the orange guys thing and dance around with them with their little hands in the air. And it's like they don't believe any of that shit. But they keep it up. You do got to hand it to them. They keep up the facade pretty damn good. I just wonder if they do it in private too, like when no one's around. Like that one guy with his big Christian university in Virginia or whatever got caught having trailer park boys parties. So they don't believe in any of it because the trailer park boys know how fabulous it is definitely not anything those guys would agree or think's funny or even want to dress up like. Let's just face it, that's like everything against them that you could think of almost. So anyway, so they were having trailer park boys parties just because they wanted to get messed up and probably have prostitutes over. You know, that's what all those guys do. Don't let them pretend. But anyway, just realize that I don't believe any of it's just all crap, and that's why there's so much trouble in the world, because none of it makes sense. Yeah, none of it makes logic or anything like that. But if you really look at it closely, the supposed fiery inferno would be the place you want to go. They're never leading armies to have wars. It's always sunny and warm and bonfires. Or you could go up where you have to sit around praying to some guy that I think like sucks your life force out of you. Yeah, so we have our afternoon coffees, a little bit of rain. Rescue copter just went by, maybe something happened. But yeah, it's all, I realized that it's all phony. And if it was true, it would be opposite, where this church thing has been lying to everybody because they want you to give them money and work for them, but they want to keep it all. Right? They do little things trying to pretend they're being nice to people, but not really. Like maybe a little tiny church might. But these big corporate churches, Catholics, all these guys, and those Israelis definitely aren't in our religion. Yeah, those are genocidal maniacs. So we know they're out. Catholics are they're doing a little better with that Pope, but they're, it's a crazy thing. I grew up in the Catholic Church, and yeah, boy, man, that's crazy as anything. And you have the evangelical cult. I can't even say the word right today, but, they're all loonies. They just want money. We know that. Islam is probably much better than those as far as them, like the people living actually how they're supposed to, even though we like to degrade it. And Buddhists are probably the real, they're not even saying that's a deity. Buddha was just the rich guy who had all this money like these billionaires today, and he just said, you know what, I'm going to leave it all. And he walked out with one saffron robe and just wandered the earth for enlightenment and to learn about people and the world and reality. So he's really the real thing. Even though some of the later stuff I don't go for, the Bardo ones, they had to add stuff in, but it's always simple. So if it was true with the heaven and hell, that I think hell is actually the place you really want to go. There's no one just stabbing you for eternity. And then heaven, where you're floating on clouds, whatever, supposed to be this or that. Because what kind of entity, multidimensional, omni, presence, this whole thing, would do that, make these creatures, kind of torture them and lie to them, and then make them spend eternity being tortured, or eternity worshiping them, which maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need that worship is what they live on, like food. So they switched it around because maybe the fallen angels just got a little too smart, and they're trying to trick us. So if it was true, it definitely would be the bonfires, warm water, camping, barbecues. You know what I mean? Nice. You don't have to work. Nobody. You're not going to have to whine and give all your stuff. You can have your emotions. Or what's supposedly going to happen, where you have to go and sit around worshiping some entity that's been pretty nasty to everybody and pretending they're good. So anyway, it's all a bunch anyhow. But that's how it is. We got our coffees now, and now you know it. It's all a bunch of crap, because all this killing is done for the good religions. They've been killing people forever. They still keep doing it. And Gaza in the Middle East is the prime example of a fake religion, a weird Eastern European cult just genociding people, and the rest of the U.S. and these Christians all dance around all happy about it. So anyway, have a coffee. So remember, they're all full of shit, and now it's going to rain a little longer. But yeah, there we go. Once again, you're enlightened.